So I'm starting with my minestrone soup, and we're just gonna chop some onion. All right, so some onions and some carrots. You just wanna cut them in half and then chop them up. So we got 2 nice cloves of garlic. And rather than chopping them all up, I'm actually just going to crush them. So dump those 2 in. Next, celery. And I've got 2 stalks of celery. And again, just chop up the celery. Now, a little bit of pancetta. It's studded with peppercorns, so add a little spiciness too. And for Todd, gotta have the pancetta. So that's what's so great about this. Dump everything into a pot and cook it up. All right, so while that cooks down a little bit, let's get to the potatoes. So now, we'll add a little bit of rosemary. Now, I love the rosemary. It kind of reminds me of the smell of a Christmas tree, so it's really good. And I leave it whole in the sprigs because that way I can pull it out later on. All right, so this needs a few minutes to cook. In the meantime, some Swiss chard and some parsley. What I'm gonna do with the Swiss chard is actually cut the rib out of it because the rib can be kind of tough, so I'm just gonna use the leaves. The leaves are fantastic. And it wilts down, and it's really, really good. There we go. Plus, Rafi loves Swiss chard, so it's one of those things where, you know, you add different flavors for every family member so that there's something in here that everybody's gonna like. A can of diced tomatoes to add a little bit of moisture and add lots of flavor. In my opinion, it really wouldn't be a minestrone soup without some tomatoes in it. I've got some beef broth and some cannellini beans. I drain them and rinse them. I take about 3/4 of the cannellini beans. Then I add a 1/4 cup of beef broth. Just enough beef broth so that we can puree the beans. Here we go. Perfect. See how creamy they are already? And then we pour it right in there. Just adds a nice silky creaminess to the minestrone soup that you wouldn't get otherwise. And then we're gonna add the rest of the beans because I like that texture combination, you know, where you have the creaminess from the pureed beans and then you get a little texture from the whole beans. There we go. And the remainder of the beef broth. My secret weapon, the Parmesan rind. The rinds of the Parmesan cheese, you can't really grate it and eat it. So what we do is put it in the freezer and then I add them to my soups and stews because what happens is it melts slowly and adds this like salty, buttery kind of flavor, like cheesy flavor to the actual minestrone, and nobody ever figures out what it is. I mean, everybody's like, what's in there? That's what it is.